Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the UKLC as we approach the Tower Challenge. Fnatic Rising are the ones standing at the top, and MnM have set their marshmallows ablaze, and I don't know where I was going with that.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they're already ablaze.
They rocketed their way up.
I guess. They've climbed the mountain. You know, well, there's a lot of analogies.
It's a tower. It's a tower in London. As Fnatic Rising do sit at the top, and MnM are now going to be challenging them for it. This is the first time we've had a non-LEC sister team in the Tower Challenge. So, and it's MnM, the team who were the first to kill one of these teams who wasn't one of the LEC teams. I'm pretty excited to see how this goes because they have had a very hard slugfest game versus Dabblers just before this, and now they've got to come in and they've got to fight up against Fnatic, who are a team who are pretty good.
MnM have not had an easy run. Every game has been sort of get quite late, being this tooth and nail fight, and it's going to be interesting to see, can they bring it out again against Fnatic?
Well, for one last time, we're going to pass it over to Sin to break down the rosters and break down what we're expecting coming into this game.
Looking at this one, we're looking at the Tower Challenge, and it's going to be the defending champions Fnatic, who have looked so good for so many weeks, going up against MnM, and so MnM coming up, having risen up, is going to be going up against Shikari in the top lane, Dan in the jungle, Felix mid, xMatty in AD carry, and Prosper in the support role. So xMatty is one of the guys that I'm going to be looking at since the bot lane has been such a focus today. I think xMatty and Prosper, after their strong finals performance last time around, have to put up similar numbers if they're looking to take down MnM. And so MnM, coming into this, they've had long games today and they've had some more questionable performances, but every member has had their moment where they've stepped up. Mumu's with his split pushing in the end of that game. Nulty with the Baron steal. Chibs has had his moments of brilliance as well. Monk storied through his late game performances on these ADCs, and Shogun in support. We saw his Thresh earlier have some good performances as well. As MnM, they proved that they could break the curse of win lane, lose games. So they've turned it around. They won out their lanes last game and still closed out the game. And now Fnatic stands at the top of the challenge, top of the tower, ready to face the challenge. And MnM, they'll have to see if they're flying or falling with style.
I've got my concerns for MnM coming into this game though, because one of the things that we do have to keep in mind is MnM now they're on their third game in a row.
Yeah,
they haven't had a break.
It's been a long day.
It's been a very long day for them.
I mean, I think we can relate.
Fnatic have been able to sit down, you know, had a cuppa, had a little watch of the game, see. They've watched these last two games of MnM and had the ability to sit down and go, okay, where's the weaknesses? Where's the flaws? Where can we punish? And I feel that today has been all about the AD carries. It's all been about the bot lane. And xMatty is a player who we know Fnatic will play around, but he's not necessarily the only player they're going to play around. You've got Shikari in that top lane. He's arguably the best top laner here in the UK scene. You got Felix, who I think it's bold to say he's the best, but he's definitely up there with a bunch of the really powerful mid laners in the UK scene. You've got Exile and players like that, and he holds his own versus those players. He's even beaten them as well. So with Fnatic, it's not just about the bot lane where we've had, you know, the Yusa will carry show, the Monk will carry show, even Jakamaka earlier today. All of those teams have played heavily around their bot lanes, but Fnatic are a team who have the ability and the capability to flex open wider and give the carry role to other people and enable themselves in maybe a faster game.
Yeah, I think the question for me is going to be the mid jungle, because I haven't been convinced by Nulty or Chibs. They've had some good moments, but overall it's been definitely a lower level than the rest of their team. And the thing is, coming up against Felix and Dan, they have been a very strong jungle mid duo, and if they can take over the game, I don't think things are going to go well for MnM, and that's where my sort of concern lies. I think the bot lane has been doing solid, but as you said, Fnatic Rising have a pretty stacked roster all around, so I don't think there's any sort of area you can go, oh no, we'll be fine, they won't carry if we leave them to a situation. The question is going to be, how will the draft go? Because we saw MnM diversify massively from their sort of protect Monk style play and go for more of a mid-game team fight style of play. It'll be interesting to see what they do against Fnatic, because we've seen that again from Fnatic. They play that, you know, we're going to have the Karthus jungle, even with the Pyke support, where in the late game team fights, your HB bar is just gone. And it's going to be interesting to see what they can bring out, because as you said, Fnatic have been waiting all day. Sure, they're not suffering from fatigue, but they've been probably itching to get into this, and not knowing who you're going to go up against as well is a bit tricky, because I feel like before day one, you probably thought it was going to be Exile. after day one, you're like, well, it's not Excel, probably Diabolus. And now, you know, you're going up against MnM. It's a complete shift. And even in that last game, you couldn't be 100% certain who you're going up against. So they now know their opponent. They're going to have to go, right, how do you get these guys? What's the strategy? And sure, MnM are going to have to bring someone big out too, but they've had all day playing to sort of warm up to this final challenge.
And you guys who've been watching all afternoon here at home, do make sure that you do head over to our Twitter and use that hashtag UKLC to let us know who your unsung hero is coming out of today's games. Because last week we had a couple pop up. We had Flirt and I believe we had Magic Felix were our two unsung heroes coming out of last week.
And yesterday was Wyzek.
And yesterday it was Wyzek. Yeah. So we'll have at the end of the show, after this game, we will put up 4 of the top players and they will be putting that vote for the unsung hero. But we're into Champ Select for our final game for the Tower Challenge. Fnatic Rising are going to ban away that Yorick, followed up by the Urgot.
Yeah, so we do not see teams letting this Yorick go through. We saw the power split push from Rumus last game. Yorick is even better with how much you can just destroy towers. So unsurprised to see that taken off the cards.
All right, well, what is going to be open? The LeBlanc getting taken away. The Galio getting taken away. Is the Karthus going to be banned away? Is the Yasuo going to be banned away? These are picks Fnatic like.
I would not want to play against the Karthus if I was MnM. We did see the Yasuo get through the ban phase last game without really being touched. I feel like Fnatic are the team who will pick it if it's left open. They've done it before. They would do it again. But I wouldn't want to leave I wouldn't want to leave the Karthus open. I feel like when Dan plays that, it's a very uninteractive game, and he just has so much power just to press R.
Well, there's the Lucian ban, denying that from Monk. What are MnM going to look to ban away? Karthus, Yasuo, the Ezreal, the Kai'Sa. There's so many picks open, and Fnatic, they're comfortable enough to be first picking one of those as well.
That's the difficulty, is that you can tailor your draft around what you've seen MnM play today. But MnM haven't seen Fnatic Rising play for a week. So it's going to make things a bit trickier, and might end up forgetting things and basing too much off the games they've had today, where, like you said, they haven't seen a Yasuo, they haven't seen a Karthus, and actually going to ban out that Thresh from Crossfair.
I mean, there's a lot open here. I'm curious to see what Fnatic actually decide to go for, because they can lock in the Yasuo, they can lock in the Kai'Sa, the Karthus. These are all very safe to first pick for them.
I mean, it's interesting because we've seen a lot of teams prioritize that Jarvan first pick, which is a bit of a flex and quite a safe pick. But here, Fnatic are confident they're going for that Yasuo straight away. So a power pick, we saw Xmani play it last time, but I definitely think Fnatic are a team who could flex it. A lot of people confident on a mechanical champion like that. And
I mean, that's the flexibility of this. They could send it top. It's probably weakest top, but you can send it to Magic Felix or you can give it to Xmati. It's a very flexible champion, and they can play around what MnM decide to get their hands on us. This has been banned away from Nolty all day, and he's saying, you know what, it's not getting into the second ban phase, I'm picking it now.
Yeah, I mean, this is interesting. It shows a lot of confidence. He wants to make things happen in the early game. Clearly wasn't adept on the Elise, and I think that, honestly, in my opinion, the Elise scale is a bit better, just because the kick is still going to do a lot of work in the late game, whereas the Elise is essentially a cocoon bot, which when people have QSSs, you're rendered useless. It'll be interesting to see what they pick here. A support pick comes through. I think that makes sense because you want to make sure that you can survive bot lane against Yasuo. Alistair's good because if the Yasuo dives in, you simply pulverize, you can headbutt him away, you can provide safety for your AD carry, and very quickly going to see the Jarvan come out, which I would lean towards saying it's top. And then the Gragas, right, okay. This makes me think, I mean, there is flexibility. We've seen Fnatic play Yasuo Gragas in the bot lane, but it's also a very strong mid-jungle combo, especially because you've already seen the Lee Sin come out. At level 6, if you hit the barrel onto Lee Sin and the Yasuo ult, he is almost certainly going to die. I think it's a good move to pick something like Lissandra because it'll offer some safety from that. But this is a strong combo that Fnatic have picked up, and you can tell they want to make plays around those level 6 points, but MnM, they haven't got a comp that shies away from that either.
Okay, once again, Chip's going to get his hands on the Lissandra. The ability to lock down whoever gets this Yasuo jumping into the team is going to be open to them. The ability then to kick them out of the fight, to headbutt them out of the fight, is there for MnM as well, if they want to do that. As we are into the second ban phase, Zoe's going to be taken away by MnM, so looks like they're thinking this is probably going to be a bot lane Yasuo.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things is it's still flexible. Like, now that Fnatic know what the lane matchup is mid, they could end up putting it mid against Lissandra. I think the Zoe would be a hard matchup for Lissandra, so they definitely want that off the table. That's where it becomes difficult with so many flexes. Fnatic don't really know what they can ban, because the Gragas could still be jungle, it could be support, the Yasuo could be AD carry, it could be mid. I think the only thing we're fairly confident on is that it's going to be a Jarvan top lane, but even then, it could go jungle.
League of flexibility here, as the Ezreal is also going to be taken away by Fnatic Rising, so don't want to either give that over as a first pick to Monk. He did have a pretty stellar game on that just before this versus Diabolus.
I think when you look at the composition Fnatic they have very much a dive comp where they want to get on top of your AD carry. Ezreal is probably the best to stop that from happening, but he's now off the table. It's going to be tricky to work out what they will do in return to sort of provide safety for Monk. Because right now their composition doesn't exactly scream protect the Monk. I wouldn't pick a Cogmore into Yasuo, Gragas, and Jarvan unless I was feeling a bit suicidal.
You can see that they're expecting this to be an X-Mati Yasuo. They banned away the Zoe, they banned away the Corki. Camille comes out as Fnatic Rising's final ban here. And after MnM decide to probably lock in an AD carry at this point, we will see a lot more kind of flexibility, and well, we'll finally see what the Fnatic Rising comp is looking to do. They could actually just look to lock in a jungler here and then go AD last and with complete confidence, but that's a Veigar. Is that bot lane Veigar?
That is a Veigar.
That is a bot lane Veigar. They're expecting X-Maddie to go bot on the Yasuo. They want to put the Veigar to put the cage on top of him to pin him in place.
I mean, it makes sense, but the question I have to ask is, once you've hit level 6, surely, if it is the Yasuo and the Gragas bot lane, they just have to press their ults in turn and they'll end up winning out pretty effectively. And
oh man, this is, like, as a Sylas, there are so many good ultimates you can steal here. I can't, like, not one of these is bad. I mean, the Unbreakable means you can tank so much. The Kingslayer heal is large. You jump into the team with your shield on your E. You pop the Unbreakable as soon as a little bit of CC lands on you, the Lissandra ultimate.
I think it was Chovy in Korea who he went the sort of Bruiser Silas build. And then on this...
Man, Fnatic have such an exciting team comp. Like, this is
so
such an exciting team comp.
They have everything you'd sort of attribute to them to play, and this is exactly what they want. And I think it was Chovy who played this Silas, went the Bruiser build, and then went the Unbreakable from Alistair, and he just 1v5'd and couldn't be touched, really. And it sort of begs the question is, what is Monk going to do on this Veigar up against his team? And I'm really concerned for where MnM are going. It could not be a Veigar bot, they could mix things up, but I think with that pick, it sort of cements it.
Unless they send in like Lissandra top, Veigar mid, and then like a Aurelia bot lane, which actually doesn't have a terrible matchup into the SOA.
I think with the Aurelia, it does cement that into top lane, and I think it's going to be an okay lane matchup into the Jarvan. One of the big things is, like the Riven, like the Camille, it's very hard to hit the combo on her. She will split push fairly well, but I mean, I look at Fnatic Rising's composition, and they've just got so much power across the board. They are holding that flex.
They are.
But
okay, they lock it out.
Yeah, I did expect it to go there. I think Sylas bot isn't quite as good as you saw. And
yeah, they still had a couple of seconds before they could lock themselves in, but they now locked themselves in. Yasuo is going bot lane. Man, this is going to be a very exciting game, and I think you hit the point perfectly saying, but you know, maybe they've been focusing on today's games a little bit too much and some stuff slipped through the cracks.
I mean, the Sylas
you let Dan get his Carthus once again. You let X-Maddie get his hands on the Yasuo. Sylas hasn't really been that hotly contested throughout the week 3, but Fnatic are a team that they like.
In competitive, I think that's the difference. It's like in the UK, it's not been seen as much, but in the upper regions, it's been very hotly contested. And I think the Carthus, the Sylas, and the Yasuo are really big picks that MnM just sort of let fly under the radar, and I think they're now put in a position where the team fighting is going to be so strong for the Fnatic side. And on top of that, I don't really think there's a point where I see MnM really coming online and being the stronger team. I mean, sure, if the Aurelia gets ahead, you can split push well. You have the early pressure from the Lee. But with the Veigar, I mean, there's 2 cleanses already. A lot of these champions are later going to pick up more defensives just to get through your wall, and I wouldn't want to be playing Veigar in this game. So this is a bold strategy for Monk to bring it out.
I mean, Veigar also just gets blocked by the wind wall.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, is that
you just whip that up and it just...
A lot of these champions aren't going to be pure squishies. Veigar does well against being able to blow up a squishy champion, but I'm not sure about here.
Alrighty, well, we are on to Summoner's Rift for our final game of the day, the Tower Challenge. Fnatic Rising looking to try and hold up their spot versus MnM. As I do believe we have an interview standing by of Handro. Hopefully that comes up.
Hello.
Hello. Hey. How you doing?
Hello, guys. How you doing? Nice. A bit nervous as every time we have a game.
Awesome. Right. How are you watching the team comps here? What are we looking at here? So, looking towards Fnatic. You know, once again, getting your hands on the Yasuo, on the Carthus is like. What's the game plan here coming into this game?
Okay, so I think you guys have noticed already, but one of the things that we have figured out is that in these latest couple of patches, it becomes really useful to be able to flex some of these champions. There are multiple champions that are strong in different positions, and we can play them in different. That help us have a bit of a different priority from the other UK teams that we have seen so far in this couple of weeks.
Yep.
So we are really confident about this bot lane. We knew Veigar was a possibility. I think this is not even the first Veigar into Yasuo that you are seeing in the National League. I don't remember exactly what was the other. I think it might be Poland, but I'm not sure. So I feel like this is a matchup that we have practiced and we are comfortable that we are going to be able to play. And Veigar gets to the point that it's not so easy to play against that composition because of that lack of mobility. So I feel like we got a lot of our comfort picks, sorry. So I'm really confident on how the guys are going to be playing this game.
Yeah, I think absolutely. To me, this is like a textbook Fnatic composition, what I would expect you want everyone to be on. If you had to say, where would you feel the strength comes from with this composition? Where do you want to come online and start taking over the game?
I think this composition has multiple points in which they are really strong. From the very early laning phase, we have some laners that can really get prio, as we are seeing right now on the screen. But the biggest thing, it comes with that level 6. We have a big power spike coming at that level 6. From that point, you can start playing really proactive with Yasuo and Gragas ultimate, with Jarvan ultimate, and Cartus allows you for being playing really aggressive in this kind of 2v2s. So I would say that the biggest power spike in the early game, or the point from which we can take control over the map, is level 6.
Okay, so you've obviously spent the day watching all of the teams on who's going to be taking you on here in the Tower Challenge. Looking towards MnM as the team, is this surprising? And if so, is there anyone on this MnM roster that you're relatively worried about? Do you think there's a person that can maybe upset the apple cart with you guys?
I would say that clearly when there are 2 games today that are won by the team that is 7 or 6k gold behind, there were some surprises there. I was honestly expecting Excel to be the team who was challenging us at the top of the tower. I think both MnM and Diabolus have shown that they are the next tier and the teams who are going to be trying to contest the academies the entire season. If you ask me about this MnM roster, I would say that Monk will carry. No, is the clear answer, in a way that I wouldn't say that we are worried about the player, but it's clearly that their resource distribution goes really through this player. So as far as he doesn't do good, the team usually struggles.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a fair one to say. We've seen him constantly have standout performances. I think looking at this composition, one last question would be, what do you think is a concern on what MnM has picked? Because I might be worried a bit about the Aurelia. Is there something that you thought maybe we have to keep this controlled?
It was something that we expected that they could pick. Of course, Aurelia always offers you some sort of a side lane kind of lane. Side lane kind of win condition. But the reality is that our composition can always rely on what we call juggernauting. That is trying to find opportunity to fight around the Nashor and secure this buff to try to play in one single lane. And Aurelia becomes really hard at answering towards this.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us here on the show, and good luck. We will speak to you in the future, hopefully.
Cheers.
Good luck.
Thank you.
See you.
It's nice just having... I mean, obviously, as a coach, you're going to have a ton of insight.
Yes.
And I mean, I'm not going to say that I don't have insight, but to hear it straight from his mouth, the thoughts going into this game, what they've thought about the composition, why they pick these picks, because we can wonder all day. And I think that's a big thing, is that, oh wait, we're seeing a play mid.
Oh, Magifelix actually getting collapsed on here, gets the heal off of the Kingslayer, and Dan's closing in. Magifelix looking for Shogun, and Dan finds first blood.
Yeah, and he got +1 on that kill score. Coming in quite easily there. I mean, I think it was an aggressive play from MnM, which they need to do, but Fnatic just there to counter. And that's a problem with this Sylas, is that he's so hard to kill, had the Aftershock, had the Kingslayer heal. They just didn't have the damage to take him out, and the tower paid dividends there.
And while we were having the interview, we actually did see Nolte on this Lee Sin, finally on an early game jungler being able to try and be impactful. He went for a attempted kill onto X-Matty in that bot lane. Didn't work, but they did force Prosper's flash at least. So
they got something.
They got something from it. You know, it wasn't a horrific start like we've seen the Elise from Nolte a couple of times now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, just an interesting point is the whole Veigar, is we were sort of caught unawares by it, but interesting to see that Jandro has spotted it, played frequently to the point that they expect it up against the Yasuo.
I mean, we got a coach who's definitely a step ahead of us on that front.
I mean, I can understand it when you think about the whole power of the Gragas Yasuo is their engage ability. And as you said in the draft, the cage is very much there to stop that. But he raised my concerns, which is later on, it's not going to be fun playing this Vigar into Fnatic's composition.
Yeah, next Maddie is running the cleanse as well, so he has the ability to escape from the stun and continue the chase onto Monk if he wants. So can see Monk's actually opted into the Electrocute as his keystone and not something like the Dark Harvest, which is more what we see on someone like a Veigar.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit harder to get the Electrocute to pull off, but I think with the nerfs to Dark Harvest that came in after its big rechange, I think it's probably the better option if you can get it off. So you're going to be looking for that situation, and it's very much about control for MnM. Like, as Jandra said, they have the side lane potential from Mummus once again, but a big part of them getting to that point is stopping the dives. They have an Alistar, they have a Lee, they have the great CC from Lissandra and the Veigar. They need to stop getting punished when Mummus applies that pressure on the side. But right now, Nolty's looking for this Infernal Dragon. And
yeah, has spotted out Prosper. He's forced to use the belly bop over the wall. Chib's now level 6. Max Manny not on level 6 himself, so MnM actually might be able to pick themselves up an Infernal Drake here at 7 minutes versus Fnatic, but can see a bit of a scrap breaking out onto Chibs. He's a little low on mana for the moment, being chased onto by multiple members from the side of Fnatic, and they're still going. In comes the Requiem, flash over the wall by X-Manny, not quite level 6 yet, and X-Manny finds himself one onto the jungler. The stun's coming forward, and the Drake is doing oh so much work here. Magic Felix looking to get a kill onto Shogun, but X-Manny is the one to pick it up. It's a double kill, but Monk flashes in, a triple kill. No, Felix takes it away, but Fnatic find themselves Infernal Drakes, and they are 5-0 at 7 minutes.
that is the worst thing that could have happened for MnM. They try and start the Infernal Dragon. They lose Chibs off to the side, who didn't even use his ultimate, so just completely caught unawares. And then the numbers advantage goes with Fnatic. They make the call, they use the Karthus ult, and they clean up, they get the kills and the Dragon, and that is not a good situation to start this game off.
Do you know what, Orcs? One of the things that actually really excites me about the top lane matchup at the moment is this rise of the Jarvan, because Jarvan itself, I don't find it an interesting pick. But what I am finding interesting is everyone's counters, everyone's answers to it. We're seeing so many different champions to go up versus this Jarvan. We saw the Riven yesterday. Now we're seeing Mummus playing the Aurelia. The game before that, he played the Camille. And all of these games are actually punishing into this Jarvan. But can see Shikari now dodging away from the stun. That's going to be the ultimate thrown onto him, but
That was very early.
Shikari just flags, drags, and he just stands still.
Shikari's just a bit confused, to be honest. The ult used very early from Mummus, and the communication clearly from Nolty is saying, wait, don't go yet, wait a bit longer, wait for your stun. And they might look for it now, but Magic Felix is one to walk up, so I think they're just going to back off. And I mean, things are not looking good, because you can see a Storm being farmed up already by Dan. Double the CS of Nolty. This is exactly how Dan wants his early games to go.
And he's about to get Requiem back. He got 3 assists, and they got the Infernal Drake, as Magic Felix now has the Dragon's Rage available to him.
Be interesting to see a Silas spec come out if you wanted to make use of that one.
Oh, we did see it in week 1, actually.
Did we? Oh.
Yes, we did.
Crazy.
It was actually very good. He actually basically insect by doing the flash R, or the R flash.
I mean, you're thinking AP ratio on a Lee Sin ult was pretty nutty. But it'd be interesting to see what build he goes. I would say that he'd go the Bruiser build, because there's very limited damage on MnM. It's like you have a set amount of burst from the Veigar, from the Lissandra. And I think if you go the Bruiser build, they'll just never really be able to kill you later on. And you can see he has gone towards that Rod of Ages already, so could be the direction he's going.
Nolty might be in for a bit of trouble here. Magic Felix flashes forward, misses out on the chains, and is just going to be able to see Nolty walk away. Chibs, a little low on mana for the moment, though, and Prosper, rest of the team, maybe looking for an opening, but not going to find that for the moment. And Fnatic do remain in control of the gold as we approach that 10-minute mark. Dan has joined up with X-Manny, not going to find himself that Steel Tempest knock-up, but Prosper could just find that opening, does have the explosive cask available. But Fnatic are just going to step away for the moment.
It does look really dire for MnM. I mean, it's early days, but to be this point behind compared to them, like you look at the CS differences, the only lane which is your saving grace is Mummus in the top lane. And yes, he carried on the Camille in the last game, but something has to happen for him to be in the position to carry in this game, because we saw last game, MnM got a big lead in the early game, and then their split push carried them in the late. Now they're at a big deficit in the early game, and Mummus is going to have to do a lot if he wants to carry for this late game, especially when now more than ever, there's more answers to him in the side lane. You know, you can send that Yasuo up against him, you can send the Sylas, you can even just use the Karthus ult, and Chikari might actually be able to take the 1v1.
And Chikari is definitely a lot more competent of a player. Like, we were talking about, you know, some of the things that Kerberos can do versus some strong players where, you know, he's not willing to lose the CS and he maybe takes bad trades to pick up some CS, but you can see already Chikari very willing to go, yeah, I don't mind actually losing a bit of CS here, but if I have to hold that, the Dragon Rage and the Q lands onto Matty, he just gets shut down. Nolty finds himself the kill. The rest of Fnatic Rising were attempting the Rift Arrow. They are going to be able to pick that up. Chikari going to make sure that does actually get picked up. In fact, as Prosper is standing forward, the claws coming in. That's going to be the wall of pain, and Chikari dunks one already. Chips trying to jump in. Prosper throws out the explosive cast. Is going to get picked up, but the Frozen Thrall doing a serious amount of work. Dan still standing in the fight. Has that Requiem available. Might just look to try and hold out for the moment as he gets himself a double kill. Magic Felix is going in, and he gets himself another one. It's a double kill for Dan, and all of MnM fall. The full ace for Fnatic.
And just throughout that fight, Dan was ignored. He sat back and just consistently laid waste, and then at the end, Monk came in, and they thought they were starting to turn the team fight, but the problem is, Magi Felix is so hard to kill on the Sylas, and if you don't deal with Dan, he will just pump out a ton of damage, and that's the thing, is that you think, oh, Karthus didn't ult, how do they win that? But he didn't need to, he just kept popping that huge amount of damage. You can see it now in the blue buff, that's a lot at these early levels, and it just blew up the side of MnM.
And this is the power of the jungle Karthus. You don't have to go into your tier item because you get so much extra mana inside your jungle. You know, Magic Felix, he's never going to get a blue buff this game, but that's okay because Dan's got the Runic Echoes already finished up, so he hits his power spike earlier than a mid lane Karthus.
I mean, it might be early to call this, but we have 10 Dark Seal stacks on both Magic Felix and Dan. We could see a double Medjay's come out here, and it'd be fairly smart to do it. Definitely on Dan for that Requiem.
Ooh, Nolty. Belly Bop's going to be forced away. Not going to use the cast because you can see Magic Felix actually has gone onto Chips, has himself a Frozen Tomb if he wants to throw it down. Going to pin him in place and look to blow him up. Magic Felix with the solo kill. And Chikari even walks down to put down the Rift Herald. 5 members of Fnatic are starting to stack up in this mid lane, and they are looking for turrets. They're looking for gold, and they're looking to close this out very, very quickly.
I mean, this has just been a masterclass by Fnatic so far. They've clearly got a bit tired of waiting, and they're trying to get this game done as fast as possible. They're making things happen. And that was just a great performance from Magic Felix into Chibs. He's now 3 levels up in the mid lane and just dominating. You saw, it just felt like he played it perfectly. He found the exact time to use the ult, followed it up with his Q so that all the damage was there. And Fnatic just very much feeling control of this game.
Yeah, Fnatic feeling pretty comfortable right now as the Yasuo got the static shiv, working their way towards the Infinity Edge. Nolty once again, though, wants to try and make a gank happen here onto Chikari. He does take the stun. They're using the teleport. They're going to invest a lot onto him. He dodges away from Mimesis' ult, uses the flash, and he jumps in. Chips is coming down. Down comes the Requiem. Chikari's still alive. Nolty almost dies here, and Chips is chasing. The shield's going to connect, and Chikari is just buying time for the rest of the team. Fnatic are making their way up, are looking for their opening. The Frozen Tomb will secure a shutdown for Chips.
Wait, they're going back in.
But Magic Felix is coming in. The Q has connected. The Ice Claws in, and Magic Felix slams down the chains, looking for the stun, looking for the root, and Prospect comes in with a belly bomb. A 2-man pulverized by Shogun has come through, though, for a bit of CC additionally, but a great explosive cast into the chain. He has the Alistar ult. Magic Felix can go for the dive, slams down the chains one more time, and now Nolty is being forced away. Magic Felix has used the ultimate by the Alistar to stay alive for the moment, and Prospect should fall here. The Frozen Thrall not going to get a kill, but that is a bit more gold and a bit more damage onto Chips, but a great turnaround for Fnatic. Meanwhile, X-Mighty takes a tower.
I mean, they managed to draw that out for so long. X-Mighty and Dan are just taking everything they want on this bot side of the map. Yes, MnM got a couple of kills back, but at what cost? This is a pretty staggering gold lead.
Pretty staggering. Oh, Magic Felix has cleansed. Monk does dodge away from the stun, from the chains.
There's nothing he can do.
Magic Felix can just chase him. Has that Kingslayer. One more slam to the ground, and Magic Felix gets himself the kill.
And this is why we see the strength of that Sylas. Once it gets ahead, it feels unkillable. It feels unpeelable. It does so much damage, and it scales very well. Magic Felix, so powerful at this point in the game. And that's even without the Karthus. You know, even without the Karthus there to back him up. Imagine that 1v1, but the Karthus ult comes down as well. And you saw how much damage it did there onto Nolty.
He's got himself 10 stacks on that Dark Seal. He's got himself a double needlessly large rod, working his way towards the death cap. We are only 15 minutes in here, and Dan is already approaching mid-game to late-game Carthus. I mean, that's maybe a little early, but he's approaching mid-game very fast.
I mean, just to get the Rabadons is such a huge spike, and to get it this early. I mean, if you look at the items across the board, people on MnM are finishing their first item. They are nowhere near getting some defensive items to sort of give them survivability against the Carthus, and it just feels like there won't even be team fights. Dan's simply going to press R, and that will win it. And then MnM just have to recall because they'll be so low.
Yeah, it's going to hurt. Only one magic resist item actually in the inventories of the side of MnM, and that's onto Chips, the mid laner, not the tank.
And it's the Merc Treads. It's not even like it's a significant item. It's a tiny bit of MR. That's not going to make a massive amount of difference. Things are not looking good. And there's still a 3-level lead in the mid lane between Chips and MagiFelix. I mean, we look at the XP differences. 2 levels between Matty and Monk. It's even on the top side, but 2 between Dan and Nulty. It's such a difficult place to be in. And Dan has now finished that Rabadons.
MagiFelix does have the ability to jump onto Lillisandre. He's got himself the Zonya, he's got himself the Roa, that Bruiser build. Silas that you were talking about. It's going to be hard to cut down for MnM here. Now Fnatic definitely taking a bit of their foot off the gas a little bit. As definitely had an explosive start to the game. They want to make sure that they do this next few steps very cleanly. But you can see Dan already making his way up, looking to take down this last tier 2. Then they can continue to pressure inwards into the base of MnM.
I would like to see Dan just press R and just to see how much damage it does. He probably won't. He's not going to use it pointlessly, but I genuinely feel you'd get Monk pretty far into halfway, but they found a pick on a Crossfair.
That's going to be the knockup. Last breath comes down by X-Matty, and he's looking for a kill. The Ignite should tick enough. Here comes the Requiem, and Prosper is going to find himself a kill. He did get deleted. The knockup is coming through. MnM are going to lose 3 members as MagiFelix wants to make that 4. Chips gets ulted by his own ultimate here, and now MagiFelix looking to try and get some damage on, but Chips can clear away the wave with that Proto Belt, and MagiFelix is just going to have to step away. Meanwhile, a tier 2 goes down, and Fnatic are looking to take an inhibitor at 18 minutes versus MnM.
This is just absolutely brutal. Fnatic are murdering MnM. I mean, we had so many close games today, and this has just been out the bag. Fnatic not waiting for a second. 10k gold ahead already.
It's in a way almost anticlimactic, where all these teams have these really hard-fought victories, and then Fnatic come out and they go, well, you gave us all our strongest picks, all our comfort picks, and we are just going to dumpster you.
Yeah, well, we talked about how up until this week, only Fnatic and XL had been able to defeat each other, and I think Fnatic clearly saw XL go down and wanted to send a message that they're not going to go down as easy, and certainly after this game, you've got to question that. Sure, we've seen XL get taken down by MnM today, but I think we're a long way from seeing MnM be able to challenge Fnatic because this game has been murderous right now.
Dan, this is your conscience speaking. Buy yourself a Medjai's. I want it.
I always get confused when you say Dan because my name's Dan.
I mean, you can buy yourself a Medjai's if you'd like.
Yeah, I'd like to buy a Medjai's.
I mean, Medjai's Janna's a thing, right?
I think the Medjai's makes. I think, you know, we talked about the Bruiser build from MagiFelix. When you're this far ahead, I think he's just going for the Rabadons next.
Yeah.
A lot of AP, a lot of damage.
I think that's a fair analysis.
Gives you a ton of heal.
As a double Ocean Drake has been picked up onto Fnatic now. They have that Infernal Drake as well. As definitely looking a little bit rougher at this point in the game.
A little bit rougher is an understatement for MnM.
I mean, 11,000 gold it's rough. It's rougher than it was 5 minutes ago.
Let's play the devil's advocate. Let's look at the saving graces, okay?
Yeah.
Mummus has more CS than Shikari. Shogun has more CS than Prosper.
You started out so strong. You started out so strong, and then, I mean, you're not wrong.
Shogun has a higher vision score than Prosper.
Here's the thing, though. Prosper has a Spell Thieves, but Shogun has a Relic Shield. So that kind of makes the CS argument kind of redundant.
Look, I would appreciate if you didn't use logic to dispute my facts.
Are they facts if logic can dispute them?
Well, it's factually true. You're just questioning the relevance. And I think in this situation, we have to take relevance from anything we can.
Okay.
Oh, Mummus might have found Shikari here, but
nope,
the flag
Shikari finds him. He has got a level advantage over him, so actually...
I mean, this is a one saving grace. As we said about the split push from Mummus, there is some potential this could happen. If MnM don't lose in the next 27 seconds, which I'm not entirely convinced they won't. Mummers could start to push some pressure in that split push.
But so far, not a single turret of MnM has fallen. They've got an open inhibitor in the mid lane. We're 20 minutes into this game.
Fnatic. I think
Sorry, that's the
quite
one.
a few of MnMs have fallen.
Look, I'm just straight up lying here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm disputing your facts just because they're wrong. What would you do? Here's the question for you, G. You're in this situation, you're in MnM's shoes. Pick a player's role and ask what would you do?
Well, I think if I was an MnM, and I'd actually want an AD more than a Veigar.
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree with that.
I understand why they picked the Veigar. I just think that MnM probably expected that they weren't going to win early. And with a Veigar, yeah, you do effectively get infinite scaling. But
I mean, yeah, you're right. If this game goes to 80 minutes, this Veigar could get a lot of AP.
yeah, but it's probably not going to go for 80 minutes. And you probably would like someone like an AD who can spike in the mid game, an AD who can maybe do something for the moment. Because Veigar's effectively a stun bolt spot. You have to wait for the wind wall to go down, otherwise your ultimate is most likely going to be useless in a team fight. You have to
get someone low for the execute to do damage. I don't think anyone from Fnatic is going to go really low. It'd be great if Monk had the Karthus on his side, because then he could follow the ult up.
I mean, if Monk kills Dan and Magic Felix, that's 2k in his pocket.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a condition. Yeah, but still not looking likely.
Magic Felix isn't aware that he's on a ward, but
I don't think he cares.
he's like, I just want to fight, bro.
Yeah.
As Mummers is actually doing a pretty good job with this split push. This will be the first turret for Fnatic crumbling here. It's a tower that has fallen, but not the tower that MnM want to fall.
It looks like Fnatic are just going to tickle the Baron a little bit.
They were seeing if they could do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, Double Ocean is on their side. There's not too much going to happen from them taking a bit of damage, but...
Ooh. Good dodge. It's actually a really hard life.
It was actually the ult from Prospect came out. He didn't expect Nulty to avoid that. I think if he'd flashed earlier, he absolutely could have caught him, but...
Is the moment?
Yeah.
Blocks the GLP. Hose
pipe. Will just chill inside the cage. Looks like they're going to head over the Baron as well. Again, they don't have someone great to tank this, unless Magi Felix moves down. But I think the Double Ocean gives them a huge advantage there. And then
the belly pop, that's the last breath going down. And Magic Felix will get himself a kill onto Naughty. Blasco will stun up a couple of members of Fnatic. Now they're just going to go back towards that Baron. Shikari and Prospect should be there to tank up for Dan for the moment. Fnatic definitely feeling in a rough spot here.
I mean, they know their win conditions. Stop the chance of a Baron steal coming out from Naughty. They do it, they execute perfectly. They were looking for that lead in, and no one else. When they went for that play, they got him, they got the Baron, and once again, playing this one by the book.
GA, Infinity Edge, and a static Shiv onto X-Maddie. Oh man, he is going to be real rough to kill.
I mean, look at the Silas and the Karthus. Both of them got Rabadons.
They are also very rough to kill. Karthus may be the easiest to kill here, but let's have a little look at Nulty just getting slam dunked by Fnatic.
So now Prospect out of vision, just instantly flashes into secure it. No chance for Nulty to react, and then all the damage comes in. He's CC'd for the entire duration. Just taken out. And then the little blast cone into the cage, but not even phased. Okay, so, again, it's still there. The 80-minute win condition for MnM. The infinite scaling. It's possible.
They should have just bit Nasus at that point. It's gone full late game scaling.
That could have been the strategy. You know, the new Nasus changes, you actually get quite a lot of stacks from a full jungle clear.
I was actually surprised we haven't seen Kerberos pick it, as I know he does like Nasus. He is partial to a little bit of Nasus.
Yeah, I think something that he likes more than Nasus is winning. Well,
maybe if he picked Nasus, he would have won his game versus MnM.
True.
Who knows?
Maybe he could be the one getting smashed by Fnatic right now.
All right. There's only been one Infernal Drake. Let's
it could be
let's lay off the heat.
It could be a triple
Turn towards
Infernal.
The next Drake, which is a Cloud Drake. Cool down and talk a little bit about what MnM are wanting to do here, because Fnatic making it very hard for them to find the picks, and let's imagine Felix just trying to go for a solo kill. Got 3 levels over his counterpart, the Cloud Drake.
And crucially, he is now level 16. That ult is on such a short cooldown for Magi Felix. I mean, there's just no way MnM can teamfight. He's going to feel almost unkillable, especially without Zhonya's and the extra HP. But then the amount of ults he can pick up, he can essentially cycle them. He can pick up the Unbreakable from the Alistar, and then shortly after that switch to the Dragon's Rage. It's just not a fun situation to be in. Prospect might actually be caught. This is the one person
they get the Dragon Rage. Great belly bop into the cask. In comes X-Mani. The Requiem comes down. Looking for the knockup. They're going to hold fast for the moment.
Damage.
Doubles on you. And X-Mani is on a tear through MnM. He's going to find himself another one. Monk is the only one who stands. And Fnatic might just have done this here versus MnM. Steals away the Veigar roll. This one will hit harder than Monk can hit. As he's going to try and leave him out. Ow.
That hit.
Oh, last breath. Chips goes golden. I actually didn't realize X-Mani still had that ability. Chips forced to use the ultimate on himself as well, just buying a little bit of time. The flash is coming down. The stuns are being dodged out by Shikari. Magic Felix tanking up forward as Monk and Chips are the only hope here for Fnatic. You can see X-Mani's low, but he's got the GA. In comes Shikari to get him killed. The turret is going to be the focus here as X-Mani will have his GA popped here for the moment. And now Nolty making his way in forward. Lands the kick. Actually misses it because he times it a little bit wrong. Down goes the inhibitor in the mid lane. Here's Chips. Maybe looking to get some damage onto Magic Felix. He just uses the cleanse. What the hell was that heal from the Kingslayer?
953. You just can't kill this champion, and Fnatic will back off. They do put some respect in, but I felt like they were playing with their food at that point. They are so strong right now.
That's real rough.
That's unlucky.
He just got like 700, 800 health back.
953. I saw the number. It was 953. He went from like 20-30% to like 70-80.
That's nasty. That's real nasty.
Well, at least now it's going to be a bit better because he's... Oh, no, he's picked up the Void stuff, so...
Boy.
Okay.
We've had a bit of fun with this game. I think it's looking a little dire for MnM. They were able to come back from a loss earlier, from a deficit earlier, but not this big of a deficit, not against a team like Fnatic who are this good at closing out games. They understand their win conditions. They're not going to faff around. They're not going to give themselves an opening. And it looks like Fnatic just going to send Shikari up to that top lane, look to push it in. The rest of the team working these super minions up into the side lanes, applying threat into multiple lanes at once, something we saw Diabolus not do at the beginning of the day here versus Barrage.
It's so sad. It's Monk's level 13 and like Magi Felix level 17, and you saw how much damage when he stole Monk's ult. It's just... This isn't fair.
I hate to use the term smurfing, but it kind of feels a little bit like it at the moment. As the third and final inhibitor tower goes down, only one tower remains here for the side of MnM, and Magic Felix has a Dragon's Rage. Prosper has a belly bop, and he's looking to go in. Throws out the cask. Down comes the Requiem. A 3-man last breath, and Fnatic are going to rip through members. 2 quick kills that have been picked up for MnM. It's got evil, though. The damage is there. The Fnatic members are still alive, and a double kill for Magic Felix. They knock Shikari into the fountain, but Magic Felix finds himself a triple kill. Finds himself a quadra kill. The Nexus will fall down, and Fnatic at 28 minutes destroy MnM.
I have no other words to say than one-sided. Fnatic, they were there to make a point. They were not losing. They're the first tower champion to defend, and there will be the rematch next week. Can't forget that, but
Fnatic will walk away at the end of week 3 as the tower champions once again. There is a rematch, like you said, coming up at the beginning of next week's show. So MnM, while that was rough, that really shakes
I'm
you
just happy
losing
it's
that
over
hard.
for them. I'm just happy it's done because they weren't having fun.
They can step away. They have a couple of days or 5 days to now go, all right, what the hell do we do into Fnatic
I think
again?
what I can imagine is that coach will have them. I mean, they're not together at the moment, but they'll put a whiteboard up and just write, not that. Because that is exactly...
This is why you're not a coach. This is why you stand here and not over there.
Don't do that. That was just, no.
I mean, what do they do differently? I think you have to look at the draft.
Yeah. Don't give up.
So maybe the coach should also be writing down, not that.
I'm pretty opinionated when it comes to things I'm playing against. Sometimes there'll be a pick that I just don't want to play against, and Karthus, especially Dan's Karthus, I would just be saying, look, I don't care what we ban. I really don't. Just don't let us play against that Karthus. It's just, it feels so frustrating. It's like you try and make things happen in the early game. Oh, look, your jungler's 40 CS down. You try and make a play. Oh, look, Karthus ults and suddenly they're ahead. And it's, I wouldn't want to play against that ever. I think the Yasuo Gragas is strong, but not the core thing. I think really the problem was the Sylas and the Karthus, particularly into the mid-jungle combo of MnM, who have been a bit shaky. It just felt like there was no life there.
Well, it was your unsung hero coming out of last week, but we do actually have an MVP, and it is Magic Felix for Fnatic in the mid lane. His Silas, I mean, it was disgusting. He played so well. I think Fnatic as a team played that all very well. 10-0-8.
Yeah, and it's not surprising he had 0 deaths because...
Quadra kills, 1.
Yeah. Well...
In case you missed it, there was just 1.
There was 1, but hopefully you saw that because it was right at the end. But, I mean, unsurprising he had 0 deaths because it felt like he was unkillable. And the amount of ults he had the choice of. I mean, it's not just that. It's the fact that you saw him get the solo kills on a Chibs, really showing why, as you said before the game, he is one of the top mid laners in this league.
Yeah, but, I mean, like... Let's have a little bit of a rewind here, because, you know, MnM lost, Fnatic do sit at the top of the tower, but MnM were the first team to take down one of these LEC sister teams. They beat out XL. They then had a pretty rough day climbing up, and I feel like they were a team who, at the beginning of this whole season we went, they were one of the top 4 teams here in the UK. They definitely made a statement to say they are. Fnatic definitely just had outclassed them, and this is why we're seeing Fnatic are one of the favorites here in the UK scene, purely because of the fact that when they get a lead, they grip onto it. They don't lose it.
They're also pretty good.
Yeah, they're also pretty good, but I would say those are kind of key things to being good, is their ability to, you know, get ahead, control the lead, and one of the things we've seen a lot of the teams not being able to do is actually close out games. So the Fnatic are a team who've definitely shown that. Now, let's have a little look at the scoreboard coming out at the end of week 3. So you can see where everybody is sitting. As Fnatic Rising sitting with 10 points at the top. 2-time tower champion XL will remain in 2nd place, but Diabolus now hot on their heels with 5 points. MnM also in 4th spot with 4 points. So this 2nd all the way to 3rd is, 4th is still pretty up in the air, but Fnatic with this win have been able to propel themselves forward.
And that sort of cements my predictions that we thought Diabolus and MnM would be on the heels of Fnatic and XL. But definitely a shake-up today. It's going to be interesting to see if MnM can bounce back next week. I think one thing that's been true of the MnM roster is there's been a lot of inconsistencies. The draft seems to dramatically change throughout. Some games I'm like, this draft is really good. I think they can do really well with that. Some games I'm like, maybe not. This game was maybe more one of those, maybe not. I mean, I understand the concepts behind it, but I think they gave up so much over to the side of Fnatic Rising. It made it really difficult for them to stand up against them, because those are the power picks. And like I said to Jandro, those are the picks that I would picture Fnatic wanting to play. It's their textbook champions. And I think, yes, they can do good at securing what they want, but they have to go into it a bit better and go, right, what do we not want Fnatic to play? And they need to do that if they're going to come in next week and challenge them again.
Now, just a quick reminder for you guys watching over on Twitch, you can actually use your Amazon Prime subscription to unlock yourself a Summoner's Crown capsule, which I believe it contains a skin, a champion shard, and also an emote was what I was told, but don't hold my word to the emote part. So you can obviously get your hands on one of those. Make sure that if you missed any of those games, you can also head over to the LVP UK YouTube channel. We can catch up on all of the games from this week, from last week's, and from our final our tournament last year, which was Forge of Champions. We had a hell of a week. We had a lot of upsets. We had a lot of great games. And is there any games from this week, from week 3, that you think you'd want to rewatch or tell anyone? If you're just going to see one game from this week, what game would it be?
All of MnM's game, bar the last one, I think were really tooth and nail, big fight ones. I think Diabolus had some really good games. Yeah, I think really the MnM games, up until this last one, which was a bit one-sided, a bit fast, I think they had a long, drawn-out, action-packed games. And I mean, if you want a masterclass on League of Legends, sure, watch the Fnatic vs MnM and just textbook how to win at League of Legends.
Yeah, well, last week, Magic Felix was the unsung hero coming out of the UKLC, but this week, he got himself MVP. So if you head over to our Twitter at LVPUK and use that hashtag UKLC, you can get in touch with us who you think is your unsung hero. And after this show, when it ends, we're going to put up 4 players from today who didn't earn MVP, but maybe earned that. And then we'll be going forward for our unsung hero. Orcs, who do you think your unsung hero was? I've got one in mind, but I'm curious who you think.
I think Shogun. I think big testament Shogun. I mean, yes, they did fall in that last game, but they were against Fnatic Rising, who for a reason are our top team. I think he's had good performances throughout, and everyone's been like, oh, Monk will carry, Monk will carry, Monk will carry. There's 2 people in bot lane, you know? You can't discredit the fact that Shogun is putting work.
Got to give it up for your support, homies, right?
Of course.
For me, I'm actually going to give it to Yusa. While they didn't get the win, he was the only way they got back into their game versus Barrage at the beginning of the day.
But the unsung hero, he got MVP.
He did. Doesn't matter. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us here at the UK League Championship. We will see you on Wednesday, same time, same place. So don't go anywhere until then. See you later.
See ya.